What happens to your data when you use AI tools? So it really depends on the tool that you're using. But if you're using something like ChatGPT or Google's Gemini or Anthropic's Claude, when you send info to the company, they store that data. So whatever you're sending them is now theirs. So if it's writing code for you, it is receiving the code that you send it, it is storing it in their servers because data is precious, and then they're giving you a response. There are some companies like Grok, for example, which is a company that hosts AI models, typically open source models, and you can use their service where you can chat with their models through their website, but it's kind of closed access. But the reason I'm talking about this is that Grok does not store your data. So they've made it clear that their privacy policy is, hey, we will take your data just to run it through our models, but then we don't actually store your data. They've been very clear about that. If a company is not very clear about that, then they are indeed storing your data, and they're probably using it to make their models better. So this is where something like using open source models is really important. So what does that mean? Open source models are models where the code is readily available for you online. So you can literally take that model and host it on your own machine. So when you run it, you are actually just keeping it in a closed loop. You're not sending it out to another company's servers, another company's computers. They're not the intermediary when you use an open source model and host on your own machine. So the benefit of hosting your own AI model is that you get to keep your data safe and secure, where if everything is just local on your device and allows you to download models, open source models locally, and it makes it really easy. And so then you can work on your computer. The negative is that those models are not very large. And as a result, they're not very good often. Yeah, so as a result, if you're just running it on your laptop and you're able to download a whole model on your laptop and run it, it is either going to be very slow or you won't be able to run it at all if it's like a moderately sized model. So I'm talking about like bigger than 7 billion parameters. And when we talk about parameters, we're talking about like, if you hear of open source models, you hear like Llama 70B, Llama 7B, Mistral 7B. That's how many parameters, that number at the end is how many parameters are in the model. And the parameters are kind of like the number of neurons in the model's brain. And if you have more neurons, you can basically hold more data in those neurons. So like when I say data, I mean like more information. Like the model's brain is more complex. It can encompass more of the world. And yeah, as a result, bigger models tend to do better, at least with these models that are trying to capture everything in them. I mean, one of the interesting things about these foundational models, so foundational models are models that just hold everything in them. So like they're like Llama or ChatGPT or Anthropic, they're just like models that are large language models specifically, and large language models are models that output text. So large language models are text generation models, and they can be augmented with the ability to like search the web. But at their core, large language models are text generation models. Foundation models are these text generation models that are really good, and they cover everything. And they're trained on all the internet from all the data from the internet, basically. So all these foundational models encompass basically all text from the internet. And that's why that's what we mean when we say foundation models.